Hi there, my name is Mrs. Esch. I am teaching 2 sections of environmental science with Mr. Schultz, who's also teaching 2 sections of environmental science here for our in-person 2021-2022 school year. I'd like to very quickly sort of give you a breakdown of some of the things that we're going to be doing in class by going over the syllabus with you. I'm going to click on that. I am using the syllabus in this navigation link on Canvas. I just want to try it this way instead of doing paper document. This course basically is an introductory course for juniors and seniors. There is some building upon all of the science that they have studied all of their school years. The reason is because environmental science is actually a huge topic and encompasses understanding how humans are interacting with the world and the environment, which is all the living and the non-living things. So we're going to be talking about chemistry. We'll be talking about some concepts that they learned in biology regarding ecology. We talk a lot about economics even. And so as a science, there are some skills that we will learn that scientists engage in order to learn more about the environment. So we'll be doing some of that. And the goal is that students are able to take the concepts that they've learned and apply them as they learn about the world around them through life and as they move on in life, so that they're able to generalize and come to some conclusions and think about things in a way that helps them make sense of why things are the way they are. We have a lot of topics, some of which we might not get to. I've already had some students give me feedback on things that they may be interested in. One of the great things about this course is because there is no state mandated end of course exam, teachers have a little bit more freedom. So we start off with sustainability and economics. We talk about ecology and how scientists understand ecology. We talk about water usage, water pollution, evolution and biodiversity, the air and the atmosphere, and that's a very big unit because we talk about both the ozone hole and climate change and air pollution. We also talk about land use. And we have sort of a robust forestry unit. And then the last 3, which are sort of lighter units, would be human population, energy and waste, and marine biology and oceanography. The grade breakdown and category descriptions are very simple. Everything is 30%. Except for the final, which is 10%. So we're going to have a lot of activities that we do in class, things that are going to come with a worksheet that students will be answering questions on, and that all includes the labs and the coursework. We don't really plan on having a lot of homework. It's never really been necessary for environmental science. Tests and quizzes, we're going to have frequent smaller quizzes instead of one big mega test at the end of every unit. And then we'll have projects, and the projects portion is still coming into fruition in our minds, Mr. Schultz and I, and this will include both individual and collaborative projects. We're going to have a menu of choices for students so that the projects can be more student directed, more geared towards student interest, not only in terms of what they're studying, but also in terms of what they're producing as the final project that demonstrates what they learn. We're going to be putting that together in the next couple of weeks, and when we have more information to share, we are definitely going to be uploading it to the syllabus into Canvas. I want to talk about late work and grading practices. So I do accept late work. I've always kind of accepted late work. I don't take points off for every day that something is late. What I like to do instead is at the end of the unit, the last unit quiz, that is sort of the big deadline, because after that, the maximum score that a student can earn is 50%. Now, this mostly only happens with students that are absent. So if a student is able to be here regularly and miss very few classes, the late work thing shouldn't be an issue for them. The other thing is that we do allow students to retake tests. And I think that's very important, because I want students to learn the material, and let's say they just learn it a little later or they have a bad day. I don't want to penalize them for that. I think that learning is something that we should always be striving to do, whether we are in school or not. And nobody can stop you from learning, and I'm going to give you credit, you the student, if you go learn. So if a student elects to come into academic networking and retake a test, I'm all for it, and I will support that. The other grade detail that I think is important to understand is quarter grades are not locked at quarter. So quarter grades are reported and they're put on the they're put in the grade book. But if a student hands in late work that applied to a previous quarter, that quarter grade will go up. The grade that does lock is the semester grade. So the semester is sort of when we're going to bring it all to a close. We're going to be doing a lot of hands-on activities. There are some labs that we do. There's also sort of role-playing activities that we do, almost like board games sometimes, in order to approximate how people are behaving, because so much of this course is really about human behavior and the allocation of resources to different groups of people. So to approximate how that works, there's some really great role-playing activities. We have some labs that will involve messiness, and we also, I try to make learning as interactive as possible. So while there is going to be a formal set of notes given with fill in the blanks that students will use, those notes are always supported by another learning activity. I'm just looking at my notes. I think that's really all I wanted to share. The last thing, and I think probably the most important thing, SIS and Canvas. So if you want to check on your students' grade and their progress, we have two systems that work in concert with one another and link to one another, but they kind of have different purposes. So the final grade is always going to be an SIS, and that's what gets communicated or sort of fills in the transcript, and so that is very important to check and make sure that it's correct. However, if we're looking for weekly progress, feedback from me on an assignment, what assignments are still missing, Canvas is probably the best place to go for that, because an assignment usually links to a page, and the page links to everything a student needs to complete that assignment. I'm going to be asking for students to turn in their assignments to me via Canvas. Even if they do it on paper, they're just going to hold on to it and submit it via Canvas, just because it is so much easier to manage the workflow that way. Things don't get lost, and if they do, it's not my fault. So I do like to give feedback in Canvas. I find that Canvas is really great for that. So it's important that students look at their assignments when they're turned back and look at the comments. Sometimes I will have students get zeros until they redo an assignment, because either they completely miss the concept or they haven't shown mastery, and I'm relying on that assignment for them to learn the mastery. So that may be something that happened, and when we get to it, I'll have to repeat myself, which is fine. I am very responsive to emails, so if you have a question or a concern, or if your student has some need that isn't being met, I really, really want you to have absolutely no hesitation in reaching out to me. I'm very responsive. I like emails because I can find a quiet place when there's not a lot going on around me, and I can take in what is being requested and consider it and then answer back. I do check my email frequently throughout the day, however, probably most often in the afternoons and the evenings. I'm finding during block days I don't have a lot of time. So please don't hesitate if you need something or if you have any question. If I can't answer it, I will try to find out who can and get you to that person or get the answer back to you. I am so thrilled to be working with your students. I have really enjoyed the first week and getting to know them, and I think it's going to be a great year. So if you need anything, let me know, and thanks so much for watching.